Okay. In the gray light of the storm, you watch as the broken ship sinks beneath the heaving sea. You are feeling dizzy and very sick. Hanging on the cover with all your strength, you gradually slip into unconsciousness. When you eventually awake, the storm is past. The only trace of the green scepter is the hatch cover on which you lie. By the position of the sun, you suppose it to be late afternoon. In the distance, you can see a small fishing boat, and beyond it, the coastline stretches out along the horizon. If you wish to use your cloak to signal the fishing boat, or if you wish to ignore the boat and paddle towards the shore. You know what? I think I'm done with people. People seem to always try and attack me. I'm just going to paddle to the shore. When you are only 50 yards offshore, you slip into the waves and swim towards land. When you finally reach the beach, you sink your fingers deep into the wet sand and slowly crawl your way up to the beach to the shelter of some dunes. You are exhausted and very hungry. The only possessions that you have saved are your gold crowns, your backpack, and any special items that you did not discard in the storm. Well, isn't that all I had anyway? No, my weapons. Oh, crap. Any weapons that you possessed before the storm have been lost. Oh. Hang on a second. It also says, even though you keep the backpack itself, you lose everything contained within in addition to your weapons and chainmail waistcoat if you had one. Crap. So you got nothing in your backpack. You have your backpack, but nothing in your backpack. And no broadsword or axe. Well, son of a... So we just lost everything we chose to take with us on this mission. We still have our gold, though. Our 50 gold is always there for us. Oh, man. Pointless, I tell you. However, a few hundred yards away, you notice clumps of small, twisted trees laden with purple fruit. If you have the Kai discipline of hunting, turn to page 139. I do have the Kai discipline of hunting. Don't I? Yes, I do. Okay, good. The training that you received in the art of hunting has taught you to recognize most of the poisonous and non-poisonous fruits to be found in northern Magnamund. These purple fruits are larnuma, a sweet, nutritious food. You quickly eat your fill and then store enough in your backpack for 2 meals. Beyond the lanma trees, you notice a wide coast road that disappears to the west. Alright, so we have 2 meals. Meals. I know they probably shouldn't have been plural, but whatever. That's something completely different. That's me uploading stuff. This is what I wanted to go back to. Oh, by the way, I'm back up to 29 now, I think. Right? Where am I? What? Hang on. That's 0. And I am at 29 now because of healing. So 29. Alright. Good. Alright, okay, the road disappears towards the east and the west. Do I head east or do I head west? East or west? I want to take a look at the map. The map, I tells you. Hang on. What is this? This is 139, so I'm going to go take a look at the map. Aha, map. Alright. I know this is kind of small, but, wow, I wish there was a way to make this bigger. This is Holmgard right here, and we are somewhere right here. This is where we were trying to reach to on the ship, I think? No, this is where we were trying to reach. This is where we are, somewhere like right here. Anyway, the point is we want to go east, not west. Right? Okay. I'm not the only one that thinks that. Yes. Okay. Let's go back to 139. So we're gonna head east. Alright, you walk for over 3 hours along the lonely coast road before night begins to fall. You are very tired and you decide to get some sleep and continue at dawn. You remember the tales told by your Kaya masters of the wildlands between Summerland and the Duranor, where packs of wild dogs roam the wasteland at night. With these stories in mind, you decide to spend the night in the safety of a large leafy tree at the edge of the road. Your rest is very refreshing. Restore 2 endurance points. I don't need to do that. Alright, page 312. Although you are awake to a cold and rain-swept dawn, the branches of the tree and your kai cloak have kept you warm and dry during the night. Looking along the coast road in the distance, you can see a wagon heading towards you. If you wish to get down from the tree and flag it down, turn to page 117. If you try and jump onto it as a pass... What? What am I, the Duke's a hazard? No, I'm going to try and flag it down and get a ride. It is a large passenger wagon similar to those used by highway travelers of Summerland. The driver pulls the horses to a halt and stares at you from under the wide brim of his hat. You ask where he's bound for. We're bound for Ragadorn. Due there by noon today. A seat will cost you 3 gold crowns, but you can ride on the roof for only 1. I'm not riding on the roof when I have 50 gold, thank you. Alright, I wish to ride inside, please, for 3 gold. Alright, so now we have to deduct. Alright, we had 50, so now we have 47. Alright, good. Alright, inside the coach is warm and dry. Shaking the rain from your kai cloak, you notice 3 other passengers on board. 2 women and a man who is snoring loudly. One of the women looks up and smiles. Hey, look, it's a picture of a man snoring loudly and a plump woman staring at the man who's snoring loudly. She does not look happy. We should reach Ragnadorn in 6 hours, she says, placing her basket on the floor so that you can sit beside her. You learn that she lives in Ragnadorn, and she tells you a little bit about the port. Since Killaleen, the overlord, died 3 years ago, Ragadorn has been ruled by Lachlan, his evil son. He and his mercenaries are nothing but pirates. They bleed the people dry with their heavy taxes, and if anyone complains, they are quietly disposed of. It's a sorry state of affairs. If you take my advice, you'll leave Ragadorn as soon as possible. During the journey, you must eat a meal or lose 3 endurance points. Inventory. One of my meals is gone. In the distance, you hear a bell tolling. You look out of the window and see the city of Ragadorn. The coach passes through the west gate and pulls to a halt. As you jump to the ground, you are greeted by the awful smell of this dingy seaport. A rusty sign nailed to a wall says, "Welcome to Ragadorn." The woman tells you that you can board a coach to Port Bax at the coach station near the east gate of the city. Alright, if you wish to walk north into Westgate Lane, turn to page 122. If you wish to head south along the East Blank Walk, or if you wish to walk east into Axe Lane. You know, I need a weapon, so I'm going to go to Axe Lane, just because it's, you know, axe, weapon. Maybe there's like a weapon shop. I don't know, that's where my logic's taken me. Of course, it could also mean axe, like, to the face, but let's hope not, shall we? The rubber-strewn cobbled streets runs between rows of ramshackle, rot-infested houses and shops. The few inhabitants of Ragadorn that see you appear to be a cheerless lot. Their faces haggard and drawn. They shuffle through the gloom, hunched against the pouring rain, their eyes fixed on the cobblestones. Then you reach the junction where Axe Lane bends towards the north and another street heads off towards the east. Do I wish to continue and enter Black Knight Street? Or do I wish to head east and enter Sage Street? Well, I don't like the Black Knight, because he would bite my kneecaps off. Let's go Sage Street. I need a shop. I really hope I'm going where there's a shop. Hey, look at that. There's a list of stuff. Sweet. Alright, the street seems dirtier and smellier than the one you have just been down. Oh, great. The cluttered windows of a shop to your left catches your attention. In the window are many useful items, all which bear a price tag. Sword, dagger, short sword, warhammer, spear, mace, fur blanket, backpack. Crap. No broadsword? Oh. You may enter and purchase any of the above items. Remember to mark them on your action chart. Alright, fine. We're gonna go buy a weapon. Because we need a weapon. Otherwise we get a -4 penalty whenever we get into a fight. So let's buy a sword, because that's the closest thing to a broadsword. So that's going to be -4 gold. So now we're down to 43. Look at that, guys. We're actually spending our gold. Alright, when you have completed your purchases, you continue your way along the Sage Street towards the Ragadorn Bridge. You know what? I should probably mark that I have a sword now. Yes? Yes? Okay. The bridge is the only... This is a 0. There we go. The bridge is the only connection between the east and west sides of the port, and you push your way through the crowds of people and carts. You find yourself in a rubbish-strewn thoroughfare known as East Trade Lane. Alright. You are standing opposite a large building with a sign on the wall, Raggadorn Stable and Coach Station. A green-clad coachman sitting next to a notice board that reads, Port Backs, journey time 7 days. If you wish to approach the coachman and ask to buy a ticket for the journey, yes, I do. I do wish to do that. Alright. The fare to the Port Backs is 20 gold, says the coachman in the gruff Raggadornian accent. If you have 20 gold, oh, please. I have enough to send all my children to college right now. Alright, yes, I'm going to go to page 10. You pocket the ticket. Alright, so we lose 20 gold, so now we're at 23. Well, at least that gold's coming in handy, right? You pocket the ticket, and the man takes you to a coach that is waiting near the east gate of the seaport. It is empty, and you take a seat near one of its circular windows. You are relieved to find that the seat is quite comfortable, for the journey to Port Backs will take 7 days. Stowing your equipment beneath the seat, you settle back into comfort and doze off. What equipment? A sword and an empty backpack with some fruit? Alright. When you awake, there are 5 other passengers, and the journey to Duranor has already begun. Wow, some fantastic warrior. You didn't wake up when 5 people entered a cabin with you, or whatever. Number on the random number table. 9. Alright, so we go to page 339. After only half an hour, the coach is stopped by some armored horsemen. They wear the black ship and red crest emblem of Lachlan, the overlord of Raggadorn. They demand gold in payment for what they call exit taxes. 1 crown from each passenger. The other travelers each place a crown on a small plate and hand it to you. If you can pay the tax and do so, yeah, I'm gonna pay the tax. Don't rock the boat. You know what I mean? Alright, so I'm down to 22 crowns. Good lord. They're eating us dry. During the course of the afternoon's journey, you chat with your fellow travelers and learn about their backgrounds. And they have pictures of our travelers. They have a guy with blackish hair and a guy with whitish hair and a side profile of a large man with blackish hair and then some robed guy and then some girl that looks like a guy mated with a pig. I'm not too sure on that. Don't want to insult her. But yeah. Sitting opposite are 2 brothers named Ganon and Dorier. They are knights in the Order of the White Mountain, warrior lords of Duranor, who have pledged allegiance to protect the country from raids by bandits of the wildlands. They own a castle and land near Port Backs. Next to them sits Halvork, the merchant. His nose is swollen and his face is badly bruised thanks to Lachlan, the overlord of Raggadorn. A little misunderstanding about port taxes lost him his cargo and most of his gold. Seated by the far door is a priest called Parson. Like you, he is a summerlording who has journeyed across the wildlands by coach on his way to Port Backs. Beside you sits a young woman called Vivica. She is a mercenary adventuress who earns her gold by fighting for it, and sells her services to the highest bidder. She is returning to Port Backs after having collected payment for a successful adventure in Raggadorn. And finally, there's Howard the Duck. A duck from a different dimension sent to wander our land in... I'm sorry, what? Where were we? Oh, right, okay. No ducks. Not wishing to reveal your true identity, you have pretended to be Howard the Duck! No, okay. A simple peasant. The travelers seem unaware of the war that now rages in Summerland. At dusk, the coach stops at an inn on the coast of the road to Port Backs. The cost of a room for the night is 1 gold crown for each passenger and 3 gold crowns for anyone else. As you are about to enter, the coach driver demands to see your ticket. If you have a ticket for the journey to Port Backs, turn to 346. Yes, I do. You may see it, sir. You may sniff it. You may feel it. You may do whatever you want to it. Just don't call it Susan. Alright. The driver nods and hands back the ticket. The inn is warm, but poorly furnished. You must eat a meal here, which will cost you 1 gold crown unless you have a meal in your backpack. I'm not gonna eat a meal, because I've got the money. Look at that, guys. Hey, we're living it up. The Kai discipline of hunting cannot be used on your journey through the wildlands, as it is a barren wasteland inhabited only by creatures called Zals, a weak and cowardly breed of Gak. Hang on, there's a footnote that says the restriction on hunting in the wildlands applies only to the ability to fulfill instructions to eat a meal automatically. Do you think? You can still use hunting when prompted to do so. However, until given further notice, you must obey instructions to eat meals if you do not have hunting. As if you do not have hunting. This includes instructions in this same section. Okay, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. These footnotes are kind of handy. If you can afford the 1 gold crown for a room, yes, I can. Turn to page 280. This place is like eating me dry, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I roll in style. You sleep deeply without being disturbed before rising at dawn, gathering your equipment and joining the others as they board the coach. For 2 days and nights, the coach follows the trade route across the flat, treeless wildlands. It stops only to allow the driver to sleep, but on the morning of the 9th day of your quest, there is an unfortunate accident. Pick a random number. 7. Alright. One of the wheels jams in a deep rut, and the 3 of the large wooden spokes are shattered. If you are forced to stop and replace the wheel before you can continue to port back. You volunteer to help the driver by levering the coach axle with a small tree trunk so that the spare wheel can be slid into position. You are pushing down on the start branch with all your strength when the horses suddenly rear up and race forward. The trunk springs back and catches you square in the face. Oh, in the face. Alright, knocking you backwards to the ground. You are stunned and you lose 2 endurance points. Well, shucks, Skipper. Alright, the driver is not so lucky. The coach has run over him. Oh god. As the poor man dies in your arms, his last words are, "No accident. I saw stars." Alright, so it's not an accident. And if you have the Kai display of 6th sense, which I do, turn to page 343. You sense that you were the intended victim of this supposed accident. One of the passengers is trying to kill you. Well, they obviously don't have good aim. I bet the passenger's sitting there going, well, at least I smacked him in the face. Alright. So, there is foul deeds afoot, yes? Slowly, one by one, the other travelers appear and stare in shock at the dead coachman. Where were they? Were they not, like, there? Were they, like, peeing off in the woods or something? We must bury him, says the priest. You silently nod your agreement and prepare a grave in which to lay the corpse. As you walk back to the coach, you discuss what should be done. I know the road to Port Bax. I had better drive the coach, volunteers Halvark, the merchant. I do hope that we are not blamed for his death, says the priest nervously. It was an act of the gods, says Dorier. I shall testify to that, says Ganon. Lies are never spoken by the Knights of the White Mountain. Unless you're not really Knights of the White Mountain, but really imposters out for my guts. Are you? Are you? Oh, it doesn't let me ask. Darn it. Alright. It is true that in Duranor, a true knight will speak only the truth, whether for his own good or ill. His words seem to reassure the priest, and you are all soon once more on the road heading towards the eastern horizon. It is late in the afternoon when you arrive at the coach station in a small coastal village known as Gorn Cove, which is mainly populated by outcast thieves and Zals. The death of the coachman is met by the villagers with great suspicion, but Dorier's words convince them that it was accidental. There is only one inn at the village, a tavern known as the Forlorn Hope. Forlorn Hope. Its state of despair is typical of all the other hovels in this poor sea village. A room for the night costs 1 gold crown. Yay! More money down the tubes. That's alright. At least we have a comfortable bed. Alright, I can pay for the room. The innkeeper is a thin old man with only one eye. He hands you a key and points to the balcony opposite. Number 2, the red door, he says. Number 2, the red door, he says. The other travelers each pay their 1 crown, collect a key, and make their way across the crowded tavern floor towards the stairs. We must make plans for tomorrow, Dorier says. The others all nod in agreement. I suggest we meet here in the bar in 1 hour to decide what to do. As you close the red door to your room, for some unknown reason, you recall the words of Captain Kelman when you left Holmgard Harbor. There is evil treachery at work when the enemy already has plans afoot to thwart your quest. An hour has nearly passed when your thoughts are disturbed by a knock at the door. It is the innkeeper, and he is carrying a tray of hot food. They have a picture of the innkeeper carrying a tray of hot food. With the compliments of one of your friends, he says, and leaves before you can ask which one. The food smells most appetizing. You have not eaten today, and you must eat a meal or lose 3 endurance points. Do you have the Kai discipline of hunting? Which I do. Then turn to page 290. The food smells delicious, but you notice that there are 2 or 3... which is it? 2 or 3? I mean, if you're talking about drops of clear liquid, you whatever. Let's say 3. 3 drops of clear liquid on the side of the plate and another on the tray. At first you suspect that it is only water until you touch the fluid and notice that it is sticky. You recognize it as the sap from a gnadurn tree, a deadly poison used by assassins because of its lack of flavor or scent. The shock of your discovery soon turns to anger, and you race out of the room intending to discover the identity of your enemy. But first we eat a meal, because it told us to. So there go my meals. No! You know, this assassin sucks. I mean, honestly, you have the foresight to get a tasteless and odorless poison, but you don't have the intelligence to wipe the drops off the tray. Good job. Turn to page 200. Alright, by the time you reach the bar, the others are all seated at the large table awaiting your appearance. Drawing closer to the table, you realize that you have found your would-be assassin. You will have to attack without giving any notice. You will have to attack without giving any warning to your enemy, so study your fellow travelers carefully, and then make your decision. Alright, if you wish to attack the Knight of the White Mountain, called Dorier, turn to page 7. If you wish to attack the merchant called Halvor, turn to page 60. If you wish to attack the adventuress called Vivica, turn to page 85. If you wish to attack the priest called Parson, turn to page 158. And if you wish to attack the Knight of the White Mountain called Ganon, turn to page 270. Alright. Here is where you guys come in, and where we end the session for the week. You must decide who I attack. Watch the picture very carefully. I know it's kind of small a little bit, hopefully. Study the picture. There are clues. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. And then go to the website and vote for who you think we should attack. I'll have the link in this video. You can go there. You press which vote you think we should attack. And then next week, I will attack whoever you guys voted for the most. Now, anyone who has read these books before, or anyone who thinks they know who it is, please do not spoil it for people. Do not place a comment saying, it's this person, or it's that person, or I think it's this person because... Don't do any of that. Let everyone come to their own conclusions, okay? Just go vote. Alright? Alright, everyone. Well, then, I'd like to thank you all for joining me, and join me next time when we continue Lone Wolf